is the Spotlight. Welcome to the 2014-2015 edition of the Spotlight, where we turn the spotlight on the arts. We have another exciting season planned with you, where we bring you the best in arts education, information, and arts entertainment for the St. Lucie Public Schools. We are so excited to be brought back for another year, and we always like to start our year with what's happening as far as the educational part of the arts, so that we'll understand what's going on when we begin to highlight the many wonderful arts programs that our students have an opportunity to participate in. But of course, you know, it's football season, and our band students would love to see you every Friday night at our North County or South County Stadium to see them perform. We would love for you to be there to cheer them on, and when they say, "Drum Major, is your band ready?" please know that they're always ready. We love our fans there to cheer us on. That's your arts entertainment. In addition, know that our music band students will also be auditioning for this year's All-State Ensemble on September the 20th. Those are the new happenings in the arts that you can come and see for the month of September. And again, please come to those football games. But to get us to this show, let's meet our guests for this morning, professional developers Jane Whitaker and Allison Barajas. Ladies, welcome back to the show.
Thanks.
Good morning.
It is always a pleasure to have you join us to talk about the going-ons, the happenings in arts and arts education here in St. Lucie County. And we know that you both have your finger, have your pulse on everything that's happening. But so that our audience would know who you are and your background, how you're connected to the arts, tell us a little bit about your artsy background and who you are.
You want to go first?
Sure, Jane.
Okay.
That was such an amazing, enthusiastic opening. I'm going to go to a football game and watch the band.
You got to see that.
That was exciting.
Yeah, and I know this is a sidebar, but the Westwood High School Band, they're playing the music of the greatest band around, Earth, Wind, and Fire. And Port St. Lucie High School Band, their show is all about Michael Jackson as we celebrate. You know, he just had a birthday this past weekend. But okay, but back to the show.
So cool, so cool. That was great. My name is Allison Barajas, and both Jane and I are in curriculum and instruction, specifically professional development. So we support teachers, new teachers, all of the visual and performing arts teachers, and work on all the different initiatives that St. Lucie has going on. I'm the co-lead of our STEAM initiative, so it's very exciting to work closely on that initiative. And I was a teacher here in St. Lucie County for 8 years before going to the district office, and I have a visual and performing arts background.
And you're so dramatic always.
Well,
welcome
right
back to the show. I think this is your third time on the Spotlight. I think so.
I've lost count. It's wonderful.
Jane, introduce yourself to our guests.
Well, I'm Jane Whitaker, and I have been a music teacher actually in St. Lucie County for 13 years. I was at Village Green to start my career way back when, and then I had a few years at Allapattah and finished up at Fairlawn before I came to the district office. And loving working with Allison, we're really trying to promote the strength in the visual performing arts and just strengthen that area and really try to combine that curriculum again with what's going on in the classroom, which we've always done. I mean, that's something that performing arts teachers are specialty people at, because we're able to do so many different things within the music and the arts and the, all the visual things that we do. So that's what's really fun. And having a chance to work with her on STEAM this year, I'm very excited about that. We're taking that STEM word that we're so familiar with and adding that arts component to it, which we're very excited about strengthening. And,
yeah, we're going to talk about that.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about that.
But anyway, loving what we're doing, working with new teachers. I'm assisting Trish Cordero also with the Shine program, so working with the brand new teachers in St. Lucie County. So we're having a lot of fun with our physicians and trying to move forward with St. Lucie County.
Well, before we talk about what you specifically do in professional development and all of the things that you're connected to, let's talk about the arts. And when we talk about the arts, we mean music, art, dance, and drama. Some people say theater, but I like to call it the MAD curriculum, music, art, dance, and drama.
Nice.
Why is it important to encourage every student, or for every student, to be involved in some aspect of the arts?
You want to start?
Sure. Well, like Jane's alluded to, is that connectivity. students, when they are in an arts classroom, visual or performing arts, music, dance, drama, art, our teachers, we know for years, like Jane said, have been making these constant connections. There are math connections, there are science connections, there are literacy connections constantly. Those are all interwoven in an arts classroom, just by nature. And so students are really able to make those connections through art. It's like a vehicle where all of those subjects can come together. So it gets our kids thinking, really creatively and innovatively. We have talked before about where we are really as a culture, and our need for those innovative minds, our need to stay, relevant and ahead of the curve as far as being, the leaders in innovation in the world. That's what we have been known for. And, the arts is that special way of thinking, that unique, innovative way of problem solving, that our art students really have the advantage, really have the upper hand by experiencing. So they go out into the world and they're able to, on their own, creatively problem solve, bring new ideas to the table, be divergent thinkers. And we had talked before we started filming about Daniel Pink in A Whole New Mind, his book. He said the MFA is the new MBA because businesses are seeking creative thinkers. It's just so beneficial to our students. It makes them very special, very unique, very marketable.
We talked about in your segment just now the connectedness to other subjects, and also about creativity. But how does all that transfer into helping them be better students?
Well, I think is another huge component to what the arts really teach is that confidence building, the team building, the ability to collaborate well. Then when you take it to the academic level, it's that challenge of the right brain, left brain. It's again the creativity that you talked about that really strengthens their academic abilities to really process and problem solve and think beyond the little squares. Sometimes I think so. They are very much outside of the box thinkers, and for us to really build upon that, I think is really key to their academic success.
What does research tell us about those students that participate in one or more areas of the arts?
Well, they have more, they're more likely to be leaders in their school and community. They're more likely to have academic success in math and science. They're able to make, those cognitive abilities to think metacognitively about why am I thinking this? How am I thinking this? And Jane, what you said is absolutely so right. The ability to collaborate, that speaks to what the research says about leadership, confidence, all of that, because that is such an important thing I hadn't thought of with all the new kinds of learning, the Common Core, the way that we know that we want students immersing themselves in generating hypothesis, getting hands-on, really, really complex tasks. That is the art. So you are so spot on with that.
I think when you look at music, art, dance, or drama, theater, the way kids have to function in a group, very seldom alone, it causes those natural problem-solving abilities to take place. As you look at starting at one point, there's a beginning, a middle, and the end. Just like there's a story, there's like you're creating a story. Even in music, there is a story. In the theater, there's a story. There's a story behind the visual art if you look at it. So there's always about making sure that there is a story and that the person observing can see the story, and it's a metacognitive as well as an analytical kind of thinking that transfers, and it all happens at one time, which is the neat thing about those students that participate in the arts. We don't just work in segments. It's about seeing the broader or the big picture.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what, Jane, I'm just thinking of a piece of research you shared with both music teachers and principals about the connection between music and reading. Do you remember how that, I don't know if you want to talk about that.
That whole component in the research was all about how students in music and the arts are so good at fluency. We teach because that's so much a part of what we do. Here's me doing my little music thing. That is so much a part of what we do in teaching the expression of a piece, teaching the lyrics of a piece, teaching the movements in a musical, in a band piece is so much that fluency, and as well as comprehension, understanding what the piece is talking about and being able to transfer that into the classroom verbally. Is such a key component to their academic success. So, yeah.
I'm going to hasten along, okay? Because if not, we'll stay on that music and arts research the whole while.
Yeah.
But we know that you both are professional developers. What is a professional developer in our district?
You're good at that one.
Well, we laugh because we do so many things.
Lots
And
of
that's
hats.
probably why we really, really love this work, not just getting to work with each other and you, but because it's different every day. It really, really is. We have that always fresh, always new. We go into schools and train teachers on systems of learning, like thinking maps or even behavioral. We've been in a training for a couple of days on CHAMPS, a behavioral management system, linking behaviors and how to really be positive and support students, how that links academically. So we do work beyond the arts. We have schools that we are liaison to, where we work directly with those principals and say, what do your teachers need? What are your needs? Because they're unique to every school, and how can we support? If we need to make those connections to our curriculum people with math, or literacy, we can be, the conduit to bring those people in. But even down to working one-on-one with a new teacher who's struggling, who's, at that place where, I don't know if I could do this anymore. We can coach one-on-one. So we create modules, online modules, we create webinars, we, create things about our instructional framework for quality instruction, teaching, and learning. It's very exciting what we get to do, and very creative. I think that's why people ask, do you miss the classroom or miss the arts? What we do is creative. Teaching is creative.
So would I be correct in saying that your job entails creating all of the training kinds of workshops or facilitating those kinds of workshops for every teacher in our school district, not just visual and performing arts teachers?
That's correct.
But you are connected to VPA teachers.
We are.
Okay, tell us how you're connected to those teachers.
Well, we've had the opportunity to work together this year. Last year was my first year. Allison's been in the department a couple of years longer than me, but we've had a chance to work together with the VPA teachers and really trying to further that collaboration within their subject areas, but also as a whole team across the board. So we have our arts teachers, we have our music teachers, our band teachers, theater, dance. So we're able to give them opportunities throughout the year to really collaborate together as a group and as a subject area. So they're able to really start to create lesson plans, be able to throw out ideas to each other, and opportunities that they really haven't had a lot in the past, and we're trying to really build that together with you. We couldn't do it without your support, and that's been huge in really being able to develop that across the district to
Absolutely.
to share.
What professional development then have you created or facilitated specifically for, we call them VPA, visual and performing arts teachers?
Yeah, we really try to think ahead and be proactive and look at the year schedule and make sure that we plan things for them. That is what they said they want. They want time together to collaborate, because if you think about it, there's usually just one or maybe two arts teachers on a campus of like subject areas. So the chance to come together and collaborate, to talk, to share professionally, that they so appreciate. On August 12th and 13th of this year, 2014, we were able to get those teachers together and do a variety of professional development things. My session was a lot about that research and really empowering them, just saying, do you know this is what our subject can do? This is, be empowered by that. It's not just a fluff subject. It's not just something that makes you feel good. This is a huge piece of the whole student, developing the whole student. And Jane, her session, which she'll talk about that, people may not have the perception that the arts is academic. There are standards. We incorporate the Common Core. We have assessments that we have tests, we have scales, we have learning goals. And Jane really is spearheading, leading all of those teachers in creating exams and test items.
Well, let's go there. That's another thing that I wanted to talk about. There's this idea about standards-based education and standards-based instruction. But I know that we have always had standards. We've always had rubrics, points of measurements in our arts-related courses. So it's really nothing new for us.
Right.
So, but we started with Common Core standards, well, Florida Sunshine State standards that have evolved across the country into Common Core. But Florida is really focusing on what we call the new Florida standards. So what are those new Florida standards? That's part one. But my part B would be, and what is this EOC stuff that we're hearing so much about? So let's talk about standards and EOCs and just jump in.
This is all Jane.
I'll cover the EOC if she's great on the standards. With the EOC, that's called an end of course exam. That's nothing new for us. That's something that we've been doing for years and years. And like you said, we've always had standards, scope and sequence, and so on. But with the EOC, really, to me, it's a positive thing because it's really showing that accountability that yes, music, art, dance, drama are academic subject areas, and that accountability to show the importance and how our state is seeing it. And so right now we're in the process of creating end of course exams for elementary through 12th grade. And those will be given starting in January for the visual performing arts subject areas. Again, it's just following those standards and the scope of sequence. We follow a very rigorous schedule of how we progress throughout the year, and this is a way for them to see, how are our students doing? How are they able to incorporate all of the things that they've learned throughout the year, and how are we assessing them, and how well are they doing? And I think our students are going to be very well prepared.
So the standards basically tell us what our students need to know and be able to do. And the EOCs, the end of course exams, actually just are basically the assessments of what they need to know and be able to do.
Correct.
Haven't we always done that?
We have.
Yeah. Okay, but there's a focus because the standards are more common across districts, across states. Would I be correct in my
That's what we're moving to because, an arts teacher in the past may have used the national standards. They may have used the old Florida Sunshine State standards. So yes, allowing them to have those conversations. What are you using? How can we make this more universal so that regardless of where a student is, they are getting that foundational, those standards, those big, big ideas.
And if a student were to move from school to school, that they're still on that same sequence progression, so they're not missing out on anything if they've moved from one school within the district to another one, which is very positive.
Now, there's this idea about STEM, but we have always thought it was STEAM. So, Allison, talk to a little bit to us about STEM and the STEAM of the STEM.
Absolutely. So STEM, a national movement for several years, very, very hot educational topic right now, very, very hot. Science, technology, engineering, and math, all very, very important. We see that it shows that all of those subjects, we need more students entering into college to study. We need more to fill those careers. We really need students to be strong in those. And STEAM has really kind of taken the forefront, and most places now are transferring from STEM to STEAM because we add that art, science, technology, engineering, art, and math. As I said, that is a vehicle for so many things. And for several years, we've been trying to get our district to move from STEM to STEAM. And I think that a lot of it really came to light, and a lot of minds were changed when we did our STEM rap battle back at the end of May at the Sunrise Theater. It was our intent to use music, writing, students creating their own rhymes. We even had students playing live music, but students writing about STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. Well, what came was more than we ever expected. These students rocked the house. They blew the roof off that place. It was very impressive. And what you spoke about to the audience, what John Wilkes spoke about to the audience, what I spoke about to the audience, and what I think those performances spoke for themselves was that, wow, the arts is such a powerful way for students to build knowledge in science, technology, engineering, and math.
But
So
also
it
that
was
the
great.
arts are heavily involved, are natural components
Absolutely.
of science,
Science,
technology,
technology.
engineering, and math.
Yeah.
When you look at an engineer and his architectural
Oh.
designs, that
Absolutely.
is nothing but the visual,
Visual
art
arts.
at its finest, you know. So
Absolutely.
you see when you talk about science and you talk about movement, when you talk about vibrations, all of that is also a part or a key of being involved in music. So
Definitely.
yeah.
The geometry of visual art, everything. The science, technology, engineering, and math, you are so right, is
So it's just naturally
the way that a kiln works and, the science of that and how the properties change in the heating process. We know that those powerful connections are there, and we are so pleased to say that St. Lucie Public Schools is now a STEAM district.
Cool. Now, I also know, and I got to hasten along, okay, that next week, September the 14th through the 20th, is National Arts Week. So what lessons do students learn from their participation in the arts? Want to talk about that? Stuff like problem solved through more than one solution, complex problem solving, how arts make vivid fact of words and pictures.
Well, maybe we could talk about Carrie and Mindy right now because,
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
we had two teachers that we asked to just talk about their teaching, Mindy Tsunoda and Carrie Schott. And Carrie is a visual arts teacher and Mindy does music and performing arts. And, just hearing them talk about their craft, I'll talk about Mindy, for example.
Okay.
Mindy was talking about a project, a whole unit that she had her students looking at Shakespearean language and how that came to be and how Shakespeare coined so many phrases and had them start talking about how they use them in their lives. Long story short, got to the end with this very, very hands-on, complex project where they created their own scenes, their own plays, using modern language and Shakespearean language, and presenting them, and just the examples that she said and the way that students took it beyond the standard, far beyond the standard, was so impressive. It allows them not to think, oh, let me think beyond the standard. It's natural. It's just natural. So.
And Carrie, same thing. When she was talking about the visual arts, she does elementary art, and just the creative energy that those kids really express through their pictures and all their
History
creation,
connections
their
she does.
history connections, their reading connections. I mean, writing and doing elements of writing with the kids to really write about their creations and what they mean and how they want to have it expressed, and just great exercises of and examples of what we do in the classroom every day.
It allows students to see multiple perspectives, often allowing students to say what cannot be said in any other
way.
form or any other language, to make good judgments about relationships, about periods of time, the arts, when they come alive. So I'm glad that we're celebrating National Arts in Education Week next week, September the 14th through the 20th. Now, ladies, I'm moving quickly, okay? Jane, your question is, since you're new to the department, this is your second year, what do you miss most about teaching? And Allison, your question will be, what do you like most about your job as a professional developer, since you've been in the department just a little longer? Jane, what do you miss most about teaching?
Oh, wow. Well, that daily interaction with the kids, I still get the interaction a little bit, as I go through the hallways and meet some of the kids, some of the students throughout the visits to the schools. And that I would have to say would be my biggest miss is, having that daily interaction with the students and to see their growth. You talked earlier about that beginning, middle, and end, and just, when you start a piece and you're getting ready for a performance and you watch them start, thinking, oh my goodness, this is never going to come together. And then you watch that progression, just that natural progression in music, and seeing the end product when they perform. It's just, that's like a feeling you
Yeah.
can't
Nothing
explain.
like it.
I know.
Nothing like it.
It's you can't explain it.
Like the
you know?
A-team, I love it when a
It's-
plan comes together.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So that part I really miss. I mean, I get a chance to really interact with the teachers now and teaching the teachers, how to, strengthen their abilities in the classroom. But it's a little different being, with the students every day. So that I do miss.
Okay, Allison, what do you like most about your job as a professional developer?
What Jane was saying was really connecting with me. Growth, that word growth. It's awesome to get to work with essentially our peers and be able to find pathways for individual teachers to grow in the very unique way that they each need to, and for us to grow. We grow tremendously in this role. As I said before, it's very creative. We get to do so many things. But when you asked what was my favorite thing about being a professional developer, I immediately kind of thought of your question, because I recently, at the end of last year in June, I got to work with some high school students from Central, and I filmed a music video for them for their STEM rap that they did, and got to work with them. And it really made me, I loved that I got to work with those high school kids again, because that, was my level that I worked at, and they're awesome.
Okay.
They are awesome.
In 20 seconds, ladies, because we got to move to the end of the show. 30 minutes is just not long enough to talk with you. What would you say to a parent to entice them to ensure that their child participated in the arts?
Well, I think just my own personal experience would come to mind, because I know as a fourth grader, I started in band as a flute player. That was my first experience. And the whole reason my parents really wanted me to get into the music program really was to develop me in my personal confidence and my expression, because music was so much a part of, I sang everywhere I went. That was, just something that, my family always did together. We sang together all the time. But to build me as a person and to build that confidence level and that interaction with kids, and boy, that was the best decision they ever made for me.
Allison?
I would say parents, every parent wants their kid to be the best they can be.
Yeah.
Get them involved in the arts.
Wow. Ladies, as I mentioned, 30 minutes is just not long enough to talk to you. We want to thank you, though, for sharing with us all of the exciting things that's going on about arts education, and what our arts VPA teachers are doing to be better prepared to teach all of the wonderful students in the music, art, dance, and drama. Ladies and gentlemen, again, it's football season. Our band students would love to see you and cheer them on as they perform every Friday night at North County or South County Stadium. But that's it for the first edition of the 2014-2015 year for the Spotlight, where we turn the spotlight on the arts. We want to thank the awesome crew here that make the Spotlight a wonderful success. And again, thank our wonderful guests for sharing with us here on the Spotlight, where we turn the spotlight on the arts.